Bharat bhai, if you join, just let me know.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Acha.
Good afternoon, Apex President, sir.
Good afternoon,
Namaskar.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
क्या क्या इस स्कीम लेके आया एमनेस्टी का?
वो भरत भाई बताएंगे ना.
स्पीकर से ज्यादा तो चेयरमैन को मालूम होना चाहिए.
चेयरमैन को मालूम होना चाहिए, लेकिन स्पीकर का है भाई. चेयरमैन को तो खाली हरी झंडी दिखानी है.
स्पीकर आए नहीं ना अभी तक. भरत भाई आए नहीं है ना. हाँ प्रदीप भाई.
हाँ?
भरत भाई.
आए नहीं अभी तक. का फोन करना पड़ेगा.
हिरल भाई, एक बार
One
नंबर होगा तो कनेक्ट कीजिए ना.
I just spoke to the speaker. He's joining in 5 minutes.
He's joining. He's joining.
Yeah, I've spoken to him.
And he informed that you had called up.
Okay.
Happy Palak is now really following it up. Yeah, great. Very nice. कोचर साहब अभी ट्रेनिंग अच्छी दे रहे हैं.
True, true.
Friends, we are waiting for the speaker to join in just next 2 minutes. So request you to please bear with us. The moment he joins, we will start. Friends, I just had a word with Bharat Bhai. There is a slightly technical problem in for him to connect to this meeting, but I think it will get resolved in a minute or so. So we'll just start. I just had a word with him. Just start in a minute.
जब तक प्रदीप भाई ले लेगा ना.
Pradeep bhai, shall we start?
Ever ready, प्रदीप भाई.
Yes, I do understand. Yes, he has joined. Fantastic. Palak, we can go live now.
Yeah, just a second.
Jai Jinendra friends, and welcome to our third webinar in the series Embrace Change with JCAF. As always, we start with our Param Upkari Naukar Mantra. So I request all of you to join with me for Naukar Mantra. Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ayaryanam. Om Namo Ujjayanam. Om Namo Loe Savasahunam. Eso Pancha Namukaro. Savvapava Panasano. Manglam Pancha Savesi. Padam Avai Mangalam. Without wasting much of time, I, CA Puneet Mehta, would request JCAF Apex President, CA Shri Shantilalji Khochar, to give his welcome remark. And Shantilalji sir.
Thank you, Pradeep. Jai Jinan to everyone. I welcome you all on the third session of our Embrace the Change with JCF. This is the third topic which has been taken up by the JCF, and I welcome our today's speaker, Sri Bharat Gosar, and Chairman by Pradeep Kapadia, and all the delegates, those who have attending this seminar. I welcome you all and keep it in touch with the JCF for future program also. With this, I thank you everyone for attending this, and once again, I welcome you all.
Thank you, Shantilalji, for that brief welcome. Our chairman for the today's session and our president, I would now request him for his address for the opening remarks. But although CA Pradeep Kapadia does not need any introduction at the JCA forum, but still, as a matter of this thing, I will just give a brief introduction of CA Pradeep Kapadia. Pradeep Bhai is son of Ramanlal Kapadia, who has been an illustrated father of who is his illustrated father and well known in the circle of Princess Street and Picket Road. And Pradeep Bhai himself has been president of various forums, including GSTPM. He's been past president of GSTPM and is also past district governor at Lions Club as well. And he's been on the board of listed company of multiple listed companies. Okay. And he's been national president of Janta Ki Awaaz, that is the Janta Ki Awaaz Foundation professional cell, and as well as on the permanent trustee of LC Walkeshwar, Lions Club Walkeshwar, and past special executive magistrate as well. With this brief introduction, I would request CA Pradeep Bhai to please give his opening remarks as a chairman of the session and start the session.
Thank you,
Pradeep
Puneet Bhai. And good evening and Jai Jinendra to everyone. I think hearing from the people from our home only is always, I think, a great feeling. Thank you, Punit. Actually, I would have requested my wife to be also online, so she knows what we are doing in JCF, because she feels every time when we are in the JCF, what are you doing every time? So Punit, I am really grateful to you. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be in the new role as a chairman of the session, I think, and giving an opening remark instead of, I usually give a welcome remark, but today in a change role to give a opening remark, I think, on the session. So it's a real great feeling. And in the series of lectures on the embarrassing the changes with JCF, I think today's topic is that Sales Tax Amnesty Scheme 2022, but actually I think the name is, it's Maharashtra Settlement of Arrears of Tax, Interest, Penalty, Late Fees Scheme 2022. First of all, I think, why this scheme? Why this scheme has been launched? Because to unlock the substantial amount of arrears, tax, interest, penalty, and late fees relating to earlier laws. I think way back, even in BST, there are so many disputes which are going on, and which has really locked lot of revenue into it. Even VAT era, and even for late filing of returns and all that are still on. So to unlock this revenue, I think the government has really brought this scheme, and the department now actually needs to focus on GST, because 5 years have already passed, and if we are still into those old laws and like BST and VAT Act, I think then we cannot progress basically. So this is, I think, another why department has come into it. And the other main also to provide an adequate relief. I think this was the industry's need was there, and all the dealers, they wanted actually to have some, because they have been affected very badly in this COVID pandemic. So to really come out of all this, to have peace of mind, just to have this scheme and pay off and forget all your past litigation. So that also is the main idea behind it. And then to safeguard, I think, the revenue in respect of the undisputed taxes, the instant one-time payment to the government. I have read, and the main reason which I also felt was really because 2 days back, I have read that if because the compensation with the central government usually gives it to the state government of the revenue that is being collected by this GST to the state government, because Maharashtra has a biggest share in the collection of GST. We are nearly giving more than 14% to the Maharashtra state contribution to the revenue. And I think a whopping, one can ask for it, 1.67540 lakh crore rupees. I think that is what the collection is of, and I'm sure this is now going to be, because economy has really picked up, and this is going to be, but the main, because if we don't start, the Maharashtra doesn't get that compensation, there would be a loss to the Maharashtra government of nearly 30,000 crore per year. So that to compensate, I think that was one of the other reason why they have come into this scheme. So to unlock everything, and then to face with this deficit if the central government doesn't, because the promise was to give them for 5 years, and that is going to be over. And now that compensation may not flow, but the state government are requesting it. I hope something may crop up and the state government can get. But now the collections have grown so much, so I don't think so. There would be much need for the Maharashtra government to worry about that 30,000 crore. And as actually what Punit was actually asking me about how many e-way bills are being generated. Punit, let me tell you, it has also gone up. It is for the month of April only, it is 7.7 crore e-way bills that has been generated. Punit, this is for your information, because you were inquiring me when we were with the commissioner's office. So this is what I said today. I will at least get this information, and that has also substantially gone up. Now our revenue also, as you have already seen, from 1 lakh and odd crore, now we are going into 1.68 crore rupees revenue. So I don't think so. That is now, and this I'm sure with the way they have really tied up everything, this is going to increase. They have now they have focused on getting the revenue. Their systems are now in place. They now have every information. So to have it smoothly run, and that is now going to have them. And I think even some of the compliance procedures also have been eased out. So the revenue is definitely going to flow. So that is what, and now I think what are the points that though Bharat Gosar sir is a master in this, and he has been a speaker in all our forums, even our GSTPM, and his in-depth knowledge on the subject. And the best part is he really studies. He has sent me twice the PPT, let me tell you. He said, sir, I have to revise it and I'm sending you. And I'm really thankful. I've gone through it. It's an excellent PPT. And really, whoever is going to attend today is going to be definitely, I think, would go with a very clear mind of what amnesty scheme is. But in just let me tell you, this scheme, it's a very simple scheme and very easy to understand. And the compliance also is not difficult. And with the many of the things that they have made it so easy. The withdrawals of appeal, you need not have to wait for the orders appellate order. Just attach the letter that you have withdrawn, and for 10,000 rupees, I think Gosar sir is going to don't have to worry. Suo moto, they will cancel that dues, and up to 10 lakhs. I think the one of the best scheme for people who have the dues below 10 lakhs. They just have to, I think, pay 20% and forget everything. And then there is no dispute of disputed or undisputed. Just calculate that and pay it off and finish it off. And the scheme is also for the unregistered dealer also. It's not only the dealer who are registered. I think Bharat sir will explain you, because I don't have to go into, and then I would become a paper writer instead of a chairperson. So I will just say that even for unregistered dealer, this is one of the best scheme. And for 10 lakhs, they have options also. You can calculate 20%, or you can go into the annexure, whichever is beneficial, you can opt for it. And for people who are really more than 50 lakh of rupees, they can go into installment scheme, and they can also pay first. But only thing, when you apply, you have to make the first payment, and then subsequently you can go on making the payment. And I think even the post-assessment penalty, if once you file your application, I think then the post-assessment interest and penalty is totally waived off. And what kindly then filing the precondition for filing this is also their appeal is you need not have to be in an appeal. You can, if because they will give you an opportunity to rectify those things. But if there are something which they have to reject, then your appeal would be restored. You need not have to worry about that. This is also what they have really given. So I think now we just have to, don't wait for the last day up to September. And even the up to your last assessment, you can, your September 2022 assessment, you can go into it. So they have even extended. It's not only the March month that they have put it. You can go up to September 2022, and you can file your application for this scheme. So I think one has to now focus on this and start. I would request all our participants, don't wait for the September month to come. Immediately file it, and even for the assessments that are pending, because I think everyone are a consultant here who are practicing, just go and complete your assessments or your appeals which are pending, and then go for it immediately. So that would be more beneficial. This is what I feel. And Bharat sir is going to explain everything in detail, how to file. He has really given me that PPT, which is in-depth, this thing, which will clarify all your doubts. And if you have any doubts, he is always ready to clarify it. So with this, I think Hiral has told me, sir, you have only 10 minutes. So instead of not becoming a ceremony master, let me be a master of ceremony. Thank you. Thank you very much to the organizers who have really worked on it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Punit.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pradeep Bhai, for your opening remarks. And we all are looking forward for today's speaker. And just as a next step, may I now introduce CA Bharat Gosar today. He's been life member for the Sales Tax Practitioners Association since 1994. That's a pretty long time, and he's practicing, as I understand, he's practicing only in indirect taxes, mostly in indirect taxes, and he has regularly delivered lectures across GSTPAM, CVO, Chartered Accountants, and various other forums. And the best part is that he has also been associated with the industry aspects. That is the Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce. He's been member of Taxation Committee of Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce. He's been also honorary consultant to the Bombay Master Printers Association since past 4 years. He has also co-authored the book Guide to Embed Audit, and the second and the third edition, which was published by none other than WIRC of ICAI. Friends, as a matter of what we say, the power of his intellectual prowess has been so much that he has delivered lecture to not only the various professional forums, but he's been delivering lecture at the colleges as well, and various other non-profit organizations. Bharat Bhai, I'm sure this is the first of your lecture at JCAF, but definitely it will not be last, and we would like to hear more and more from you. And with this, I now request CA Bharat Gosar to start his deliberation for the day. Bharat Bhai.
Thank you, Punit Bhai. First of all, I'm thankful to members of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, and particularly Pradeep Bhai, Hiral Bhai, and Punit Bhai, with whom recently I came in contact in connection with this seminar. Now, I may be slow today. The reason is that my cataract surgery has been undertaken recently in one eye. So in one eye, cataract surgery is taken place, and one eye still it is pending, and recovery is not up to the mark. So there is little bit difficulty in reading the PPT. Otherwise, everything is okay. Now the amnesty scheme. I'm audible to everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now one more question: whether everybody is muted? So I'll suggest the participant, one can unmute and raise the query anytime. One need not wait till the completion of the lecture. So after some time, one can ask the queries once the lecture is started. Now, the amnesty scheme. Now, the scheme of this amnesty was expected. It was expected last year only, but it is delayed by 1 year. So we were expecting that it will come, and at last it came. So it was not a surprise this time. Now, even in 2019, the amnesty scheme was declared, and immediately, in a span of 3 years, once again the scheme is declared. Now, I must say that this scheme is the most liberal scheme in the history of amnesty schemes of declared by Maharashtra government. Schemes are declared many times. First amnesty was declared in the history in 1992 under Profession Tax Act, and thereafter, in a span of couple of years, every time the scheme has come. Sometimes for the Entry Tax Act, sometimes BST Act, sometimes VAT Act, etc. Perhaps this scheme may be the last scheme. Now one did not expect the scheme under Bombay Sales Tax Act of Maharashtra Act. Now the scheme started from 1st April and will continue for 6 months at a stage and will complete on 30th September. So one should not expect the extension because already 6 months are given. Now, if somebody want to refer in case of any question, query, clarification, anytime, so one can refer to the notification issued by the Maharashtra government, and one trade circular has been issued on 20th April. So most of the common questions are covered in the circular dated 20th April. One more circular is expected to cover some typical issues and more queries raised by the members of various members. But circular dated 20th April, I think it clarifies most of the questions. Most of the at least 90% questions or queries are covered in the circular. And department has tried to make it as much simple as possible, and government has also tried to become as friendly as possible. Now today's speech covers various aspects. Like I will cover the important terms. Some of the important terms are necessary to cover. Then eligibility criteria, who is covered, who is not covered, how much amount is payable, how to determine, and some procedural aspects I will cover. Then what are the different acts which are covered? Now before the introduction of GST Act from 1st July 2017, various acts which were administered by the Maharashtra government as far as taxation laws are concerned, whereas it was administered by various acts. So all the acts are covered which were in existence up till 30th June 2017. Now what were the different acts? The one everybody knows, one was Maharashtra VAT Act, so that is covered. Most of the applications will come under VAT Act only, but over and above VAT Act, various other acts are also covered. Now one is Profession Tax Act. Now Profession Tax, it is still in existence. Today also it is in existence. So Profession Tax Act is covered. But remember, under Profession Tax Act, the amnesty scheme covers only for a period up to 30th June 2017, pre-GST era. So if any if any payment is remained to be paid for the current year, Profession Tax Act, current year last year, that is not covered. Only payment unpaid amount covered up to 30th June 2017 are covered under Profession Tax Act. Now representation has been made to the government that at least for Profession Tax Act, it should be extended till 31st March 2022. Whether government consider it or not, it is a different thing. But Profession Tax Act up to 30th June 2017 is covered. Then all other acts which were in existence before the VAT Act, before 1/4/2004, 1/4/2005 are also covered. Now, what are those acts? Now, before VAT Act, it was it was administered by the Bombay Sales Tax Act and Central Sales Tax Act. So that is covered. Now, over and above Bombay Sales Tax Act and Central Sales Tax Act, there are few other acts also. One was Right to Use Act. That means if some goods are given on rental basis and rent is received, so that was also covered under the Right to Use Act. So that is covered. Then one is Works Contract Act, the most complicated law of Maharashtra state. So that is also covered under amnesty scheme. Then one is Luxury Tax Act. So if any hotel is there and rooms are given on rental basis, hotel or dharamsala, sanatorium, if rooms are given on rental basis, then there was a tax under Luxury Tax Act also. So that Luxury Tax Act is also covered. Then Entry Tax Act. So there was one law, Entry Tax Act. So there were two Entry Tax Acts. One was Entry Tax on tax payable on entry of motor vehicles into the Maharashtra. So if any vehicle, motor vehicle, is registered outside the Maharashtra, thereafter that vehicle is later on registered in the Maharashtra state, or it is purchased outside the Maharashtra and it is entered, it is bought into Maharashtra state. Then on that, on the value of vehicle, one was required to pay entry tax also. So if some amount is remain unpaid, then it is payable under motor entry of Motor Vehicles Act. And there is one more law called entry of goods into the state of Maharashtra. That is called entry of goods into the local areas act. So entry tax on goods was also covered. So there were few goods, particularly tiles were there, air condition was there. So air condition, tiles, or few more goods. If those goods, specific goods, are imported from other state into the Maharashtra state, if, for example, neighboring states, Daman, Silvassa, etc., those were tax-free states. So some people were buying tiles or motor vehicles also, even tiles or say air conditioner. They were buying from the Silvassa and Daman particularly. It was tax-free zone, and they were bringing it into the state of Maharashtra. So as soon as those goods are purchased from outside Maharashtra, any state, and bought into the state of Maharashtra, then entry tax was payable under the law. Maharashtra tax on entry of goods into the local areas tax. So if any dues are pending under those entry tax act, then also that is covered uh, under the amnesty scheme. So not only VAT Act, but also earlier Sales Tax Act dues may be pending, and some miscellaneous act also dues may be pending. So those are covered. Now immediately I am covering the table, how much is payable and how much will be waived, because everybody is interested to know kitna milta aur kitna chhodne ka hai, how much is payable. So better I am covering that slide first. So there are two types of dues. One is under Maharashtra VAT Act. So VAT Act was in existence from 1st April 2005 till 30th June 2017. VAT was there. All other acts were replaced by the VAT Act. So if during this period 2005 to 2017, if any dues are pending as on 1st April 2017, for example, 2022, for example, then how much is payable? So the law says that there are two types of demand. One is demand which is admitted by the SSE, and one is under dispute. So we'll discuss what is disputed and what is undisputed, what is admitted, etc. So if dues are clear-cut dues, demands, and there is no dispute, and dealer has already admitted that this much amount is payable, I had filed the return, but I failed to pay the tax, still I have not paid the tax. These are clear-cut demands. So these are called undisputed dues. So that demand, tax amount, one has to pay fully. Full amount is payable 100%. And government has relaxed the interest and penalty on which, if those due demands are paid 100%, then there is a relaxation in interest and penalty. And if demands are unadmitted, disputed, then under VAT Act, you have to pay 50% only, and 50% will be relaxed. So disputed dues, you pay only 50%. Undisputed tax amount, you have to pay 100%. So once the tax amount is paid 50% or 100%, then there is a relaxation in interest and penalty also. How much interest is payable? 15% interest is payable, and balance 85% will be waived. And as far as penalty is concerned, only 5% is payable penalty, and 95% penalty will be waived completely. Now, there is one concept called post-assessment interest or post-assessment penalty. What is that? So that there was a concept of post-assessment penalty, and after 1487, the concept is post-assessment interest. So it is nothing but interest liability which is continued. For example, 2012, order is already passed. So up to 2012, up to the date of order, interest is already levied on outstanding demand, the demand raised in the order. And thereafter, you are still today, you are not paid. So government said post-assessment interest is waived. That means demand on the demand raised on 2012 order, government has already levied interest up to 2012, and thereafter from 2012 till today, 2022, the Salka interest that is completely waived, 100%. No need to calculate also, no need to pay also. So post-assessment, after passing of the assessment order, if any interest is payable, that is waived completely. No need to calculate. Then late fee. Now, in the past, tax, if return was filed late, then penalty was payable. But later on, people were disputing the penalty. So from 2009 onward, government decided to levy in late fee instead of penalty. That concept is there in income tax also nowadays. So income tax has taken the lesson from the VAT department. There was a fixed amount of late fee instead of. So late fee is automatic and mandatory. No order is required to be passed, no hearing, no appeal, nothing. One has to pay compulsory, mandatorily. So that late fee, government has levied, government has waived 90% in the amnesty, only 5% late fee. If any late fee is remain to be paid, many times what is happening, we file the return, and at the time of filing of return, late fee is not required to pay, but in later on one has to pay late fee. So immediately return will be accepted, what used to be accepted, and late fee was remained to be payable. So many such late fees might have been remained unpaid. And under the VAT Act, late fee was rupees 2,000 per return. Under Profession Tax Act also, if return is filed late by 1 month, then 200 rupees late fee is payable. And if return is late by more than 1 month, then late fee of 1,000 rupees is payable per return. So many such late fees are remained unpaid. One will have to find out literally. So system is also may not be able to, department system is also not capable to find out how much late fees remain paid. This is like, yes, tell me.
One small request. If
Yeah,
you
tell me.
just change the PowerPoint into the slide mode. There is one
Slide mode,
yeah,
DPD.
so that it becomes more visible to all the participants.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to make it slide mode.
There is a one jar kind of glass kind of button at the bottom.
Okay, let me search. Share glass. नहीं बड़ा हो जाएगा. देखो ये है.
Bottom right side.
Right side bottom.
Yeah, jar glass kind of.
Glass.
Yes. No.
Okay. Let me, sir. Meanwhile, I'm continuing my lecture.
Yeah. Okay.
So late fee. Now the difficulty is about late fee. Late fee figure is not available. One has to approach to the assessing officer and will request him that late fee हमारा कुछ बाकी है क्या, कुछ पुराना देखो तो जरा आपकी सिस्टम में दिखता है कि नहीं.
F5 प्रेस कर लीजिए आप. F5.
F5. Bill in F5. No.
Okay.
No result.
Yeah, you continue, please. Sorry.
I think I should continue.
Yeah.
Now this is okay. Now, so as far as now once again I will repeat that under VAT Act, that is 2005 to 2017, undisputed tax one has to pay fully. Disputed tax only 50% you pay. Interest, now suppose tax is payable 100%. If you pay 100%, then also interest, there is a relaxation in interest also. Interest you pay 15% only, penalty and late fee you pay 5% only. So that is one option. That option is available to everybody. Now, one more option is available. Now, those whose demand is less than 10 lakhs rupees. I'll later on tell you what is how to calculate 10 lakhs, how department is. So if outstanding demand is less than 10 lakhs rupees, then another option is also given. You pay lump sum 20%. So as far as undisputed dues are concerned, admitted dues, that is payable 100%, no compromise. But other demand, that is disputed tax, interest and penalty, etc., lump sum you have to pay 20%. You can pay 20% if the demand is less than 10 lakhs rupees. So if demand is less than 10 lakhs rupees, then remember, two options are available. Now people are under the impression that less than 10 lakhs, 20%, more than 10 lakhs. Many people are under the impression that demand is scheme is available only for the demand up to 10 lakhs. 10 lakh se zyada hai, then amnesty is not available. That is not so. Misconception. Even the demand is more than 10 lakhs, then also amnesty is available, but only one option is available: 50%, 15%, and 5%. And demand less than 10 lakhs, then two options are available: 50%, 15%, 5%, or 20% lump sum. So you calculate, जिस पे सस्ता पड़ता आप जा सकते हैं, whichever is cheaper, you can go. Now I have studied that if many times assessment orders are passed late, after 4 years, 5 years, even 6 years, 8 years. So in those cases, tax interest interest demand is more than the tax amount, and in many cases 100% penalty is levied. Now, if in the order penalty is 100% is levied and interest amount is more than the tax amount, then 20% will be costly. So you should not go for 20% option. Next slide. Now, if the demand, if the case is before 2005, pre-VAT era, that is under Bombay Sales Tax Act and other allied acts. Now demand is old, rather. So what are the relaxations? So there is some typing error in my slide. So as old demand is concerned, before 2005, pre-VAT era, under Bombay Sales Tax Act, if demand is undisputed, you have to pay 100%. If disputed dues, then you have to pay only 30%. Under VAT Act, you have to pay 50%. Under Bombay Sales Tax Act, you have to pay only 30%. Interest, you have to pay 10%. So under VAT Act, you have to pay 15%. Here you have to pay only 10%. 90% is paid. The penalty, 5% you have to pay. 90% will be relieved. And another option is also given in this also case, 20% lump sum if demand is less than 10 lakhs. So this is the option available. This is the calculation. Now, one more thing I'll tell you. Now the government has given option if the demand is more than 10 lakhs. In such case, the government has given option to pay tax on installment basis instead of lump sum basis. One shot, you can make the payment in 4 equal installments, 25% quarterly basis. My last slide covers that particular this scheme. So if you are, instead of making payment one shot, but that facility is available only if the demand is, outstanding dues are more than 10 lakh rupees, tax, interest, penalty together. Then instead of one shot payment, you can make payment by installment. Now, if you are making payment by installment, then under old Bombay Sales Tax Act, you have to pay 36% instead of 30% tax. You have to pay 36%, slightly more tax amount. And under VAT Act, you are supposed to pay tax amount at 50%. But if you decide to make payment by installment more than 10 lakhs, then instead of 50%, you have to pay 56%, slightly more. Government has tried to cover the interest element. So this is how you have to make the payment. Now I will touch the definitions, some of the important definitions. Now first is applicant. Now see, applicant means the person who is defaulter and required to make the payment under amnesty. That is called applicant. Simple meaning, no other meaning. Now so what is arrears? Arrears means outstanding amount of tax, interest, penalty, late fee, or all or any of which. So tax, interest, penalty, etc. If it is in arrear, as on 1st April 2022, the date of starting of the amnesty, if it is payable by the SSE, then it is called arrear. Now arrear may be of 3 types. Now 3 types of cases or 3 types of instances are covered under the amnesty scheme. One, very simple, if any order is passed, statutory order, that is assessment order, letter on appeal order, or sometimes rectification order, revision order, reassessment, etc. So if the last order, whatever last order is passed, and as per the last order, if demand is remained payable, sometimes fully payable, sometimes some part is paid and some part is remained to be payable. So that is called the arrear as on 1st April 2022. Then sometimes it may happen that particularly under VAT Act that you have filed the return and paise nahi the, but you filed the return and saved the penalty payable on late filing of return. So you filed the return, but you did not pay the tax and it is still remained unpaid. Then that is also covered under the amnesty scheme, and that is, and one is under VAT Act only. Under VAT Act, the audit was there. First time under VAT Act, audit came into existence under the state government laws. So, but under Bombay Sales Tax Act, audit system was not there. Under VAT Act, first time audit came into force. Initial turnover limit was 40 lakhs, then 60 lakhs, then 1 crore. So, if audit report is filed by the assessee, audit is conducted by chartered accountant, only CA and cost accountant were eligible. Only CA, but subsequently cost accountant and company secretary were also eligible to carry out VAT audit. So if audit report is filed by the assessee or by the chartered accountant or other consultant on behalf of the assessee, and in the audit report, if what happens many times that when the audit is conducted and completed, some more demand is raised by the auditor after calculation, some new demand has come into force, and that additional demand is remained to be paid. Sometimes it may happen that initially you have filed the return, did not pay tax, even after completion of audit also you did not pay the tax. An auditor filed the audit report in which demand is appearing in the audit report. So such demands are also covered under the amnesty scheme, and those demands are also called arrears. So those are also covered under the. So there are three types of arrears. One is amount shown in the audit report. One amount which is shown as payable under the return in the return, and one is assessment order is passed but remain to be paid. So there are three areas. Now those areas may be of two types. One is disputed and one is undisputed. Actually, department should have used the word admitted and unadmitted, but they have used the word disputed and undisputed. So that is also creating some confusion. Many of the practitioner people feel that disputed means appeal kya jhagda chal raha hai. But it is not so. The word is disputed tax, but they are thereafter they have defined the term what is undisputed. So what is undisputed? So undisputed tax is the tax which you have collected. When you sold the goods, you collected the tax. So whenever you sell the goods, you raise the invoice, and the invoice you collect tax separately. So that tax is collected separately, but you fail to pay. So that is called undisputed tax. You have to pay it. Since you already collected, so you have to pay 100%. You can't keep 50% pocket and 50% pay. No, you pay full tax. Then whenever you file the return, so you have shown the tax liability. This is the total turnover tax payable minus input credit set off. So net tax is payable. So tax is on payable, but paise nahi the return file kar the tax nahi bhara. So the tax which is shown in the return as payable but not paid. So that is called undisputed tax. Apne clear cut return mein bata diya, you have shown that amount is payable. You are admitted and not paid still today. Still today means till the 1st April 2022. Then that is called undisputed tax. Such tax which is shown in the return, which is collected in the bill, that is payable fully. No amnesty in tax amount. But still government is so liberal that government says, वो tax दे दो हमको बस, बाकी interest penalty में, even if you pay tax fully, still you are eligible to have amnesty for interest and penalty. Interest and penalty you pay partially, 10%, 15%, 5%, and you get relief. Then there are a couple of more examples of undisputed tax. One is TDS amount. Like Income Tax Act, there was a TDS under VAT Act also. And earlierly, from 1/5/1998 onwards, there was a TDS provision under Works Contract Tax also. Maharashtra Works Contract Tax. TDS provisions came into force first time from 1/5/1998 till 2005, till the VAT Act. So under Works Contract Act old or under new VAT Act, if TDS amount is deducted, that is undisputed. You are already deducted but not deposit, you have to pay 100%. Then sometimes it may happen that at the time of assessment, when assessment order is passed, and at the time of assessment, officer came to know that you have collected more tax but deposited less. For example, you have collected 12.5% and you have paid only 4%. There was a dispute regarding rate of tax, etc. So you have collected more but paid tax, paid less or deposited less as it is appearing in the order. So that amount is called undisputed. You have to pay full. So whenever you file application for amnesty, you have to go through the assessment column in the assessment order, VAT or CS tax act. In separate is there excess collection. So if some amount is appearing excess collection, that is called undisputed. You have to pay full amount. Then audit report under VAT Act. If audit report is auditor has put a clear-cut remark that this much amount is audit column recommended that this much amount is so one is if auditor has recommended that this much amount is payable, and thereafter there was one column in which the dealer, the assessee was required to put a remark that whether you admit this amount or you don't agree. So sometimes we, the auditor, put a recommendation that this much amount is payable. Dealer is not agree, then he will put a remark that I do not agree. So if the recommendation is given in the audit report to pay the tax, and that recommendation is accepted, clearly accepted by the dealer, say, yes, I agree, this much amount is payable, then that amount becomes admitted dues, accepted dues, or we may say undisputed dues. So those amounts are required to be paid fully. Then there is one more item rarely heard, that is TCS. So there was a TCS under VAT Act also. Therefore, the concept of TCS was there. So when the VAT Act came into force, there was no TCS, but later on the word TCS, the item TCS was added. So some couple of items are there on which TCS was payable. Excavation, I think those amounts, couple of items were, I'll tell you what were those items. Query, जो माइन है, माइन के जो लीजिंग के ऑर्डर गवर्नमेंट से वो लीज पे मिलता है माइन, so on those amounts, minerals you take out, so lump sum amount was payable to the government, so that was eligible, subject to TCS amount. And one is right for excavation of sand. दीवा है दहीसर है, वहां से मट्टी उठाने का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिलता है गवर्नमेंट से, on which some lump sum amount was required to be deposited, so that amount was subject to TCS. So some कोई लाइफ में कोई ऐसा TCS का अमाउंट कुछ रहेगा, किसी के केस में आ सकता है, so that TCS amount, if tax is collected but not deposited, then you have to pay 100%. That is undisputed. Then one more item, amount disallowed under section 52A or 52B of VAT Act. That item also came into force from 1/4/2016. So 16, 17 and June 17. For 2 years and 3 months, there was one section 52A and 52B. एक नया कानून आ गया था गड़बड़ वाला. So what was that section 52 and 52B? I'll tell you. There are 3 items which were eligible, on which set off was available under Rule 52 and 52B. One is mobile phone, one was cold drink, and one was mega unit. Mega unit declared by the state government. So mega unit, normally what was happening under VAT Act, even under GST Act also, under BST Act also, what was the normal situation? As soon as you purchase the goods, you claim input credit immediately, whether those goods are sold or not. But there were exceptions from 1/4/2016 that if a mega unit is a mega unit declared by the state government, Maharashtra government, उनको concession मिलते थे special. So if mega unit has purchased any good, but those goods are not sold, till those goods are sold, input credit was not available. So input was available only when goods are sold. Till that time, input credit was not available. Similarly, cold drink, 20-25% tax था cold drink के ऊपर, thumbs up वगैरह. But on those goods, from 1st April 2016, system of input was changed. On mobile phone also. Mobile phone accessory cover नहीं किया, but mobile phone, cell phone. So if those goods, cold drink and cell phone, are purchased, and if those goods are not sold, then input credit was not available. Input credit was available only to the extent of those goods are sold. So mobile phone or cold drink or mega unit, if goods are lying in closing stock as on 31st March or 30th June 2017, so on those closing stock, input credit was not available. It was available only when those goods are sold. So many practitioners have made mistake. पता नहीं था कानून, इनपुट क्रेडिट उठा के ले लिया, और बाद में what happened at the time of assessment officer disallowed it. ये नेक्स्ट ईयर बिका है तो आपको नेक्स्ट ईयर मिलेगा इनपुट, ये साल में नहीं मिलेगा. So such disallowance or input credit amount will be treated as admitted dues, on which full amount 100% is payable. So except these things, all other dues will be treated as disputed dues. So on which input credit, on which 50% or 30% rebate will be given. Any question, any query on disputed, undisputed?
Sir, there have been some questions coming up.
Yes.
But
Acha.
I just thought we will finish.
Okay, let it finish. So
Yeah.
what will happen today? Now we have started late. So I am also going slow. So it will
Yes.
continue even after 7 also. So chalega, will it be okay?
Yeah, no problem, sir.
Okay, let us carry
That's
on.
not a problem.
But request somebody to play bugle.
Yes.
So I will come to know कि 7 बज गए, अपना मैच का टाइम हो गया है. So I will go fast later on.
Okay, sir.
So then next concept is order of settlement. That there are two definitions. One is order of settlement and one is statutory order. Simple statutory order means assessment order passed under VAT Act, Bombay Sales Tax, etc. And one is settlement order. Settlement order means order passed under this act, amnesty order. So once you make the payment, once you make an application for amnesty, government will give, department will give assessment order also, means order of settlement also. So now what is the time limit? Time limit for making an application payment is 30th September, and time limit of passing of order is 3 months after 30th September. So by 31st December, you will receive the order, online application, online order. So कोई efficient officer है तो immediately order दे देगा आपको. Otherwise, lethargic officer है, किसा charge vacant है, so you may have to wait till 31st December also. So once the 30th September is over, आपको चेक करना चाहिए और जो ऑर्डर पेंडिंग है ऑफिसर का फॉलो अप करना चाहिए. कोई रहेगा तो तकलीफ हो जाएगा. So there are two types of order: assessment order, that is called statutory order, and one is settlement order. So अच्छा है, दोनों सेपरेट नाम दिया है, assessment order and settlement order. Then requisite amount. Requisite amount means amount payable, amount which is eligible for amnesty. Requisite amount means once the amount you come to know this much amount is payable, disputed, undisputed interest, बाद में उसका percentage निकालो कि how much is payable, 50%, 30%, 5%. So that amount payable under amnesty is called requisite amount. Then return dues. Return dues means tax payable as per return, but you did not pay till 31st March 2022 or 1st April 2022, till the date of amnesty का curtain खुला, till that date it was payable. Those are called return dues. Now eligibility. Now I'll give some typical issues I am covering on a particular situation. What could be the solution? What could be the answer? Now, as Pradeep has said, the scheme is available for unregistered person also. Unregistered dealer also can apply for amnesty. Sometimes it may happen. There are two such types of situation. Number बिना का आदमी को कैसे भरने का होता है. So it may happen that under VAT Act or under Sales Tax Act, if you cross the turnover limit, 20 lakh hai, 5 lakh hai, 10 lakh hai, certain limit is there. Once you cross the turnover limit, you are liable for registration. But you applied late, registration late ho gaya. So till the time, so what is happening? Even under GST Act also, आपने number late लिया, आपको number late मिला, तो जो invoices है, what are invoices raised after the getting registered number are accepted by the system. Earlier the invoices are not accepted. So that was the same problem was there under VAT Act also. So whatever turnover of sales you already done before getting the registration number late हो गया, तो आपने tax discharge नहीं किया अभी तक. So normally what we were doing practice, sir, once we were getting the registration number, so first जो return आता है, filing first return after registration, we were showing the turnover, and in the first return we are discharging the tax liability. But it may happen that somebody may not have discharge liability and remain unpaid. So person is registered, but registered person का भी थोड़ा unregistered period रह गया है. या तो either or there may be another possibility. You cancel the number. But once the number is cancelled, still some closing stock was remained. Now the law of VAT was saying that on closing stock you have to pay tax, you have to discharge. Even GST Act also saying the same thing, that you first closing stock nil करो और बाद में number cancel करो. But you have cancelled the number, some closing stock remain and which is sold afterwards. The law of VAT, what was the law of VAT? What law of VAT was saying that you are liable to pay VAT till the date of cancellation order. So you applied for cancellation, but cancellation के लिए application क्या का very next moment का आपके हाथ में officer order नहीं देता है. Some officer give the order after 6 days, some after 6 months, some after 1 year. फुर्सत में order बना के भेजा. So the law of VAT saying that you are supposed to pay tax till the date of order. So as of the date of closure of business, some closing stock remain, you sold and did not pay the tax. So हो सकता है. So some unregistered period tax liabilities remain, so you can discharge. Number is already cancelled, number is not live. So how will you discharge? You can make the payment of tax by using your income tax PAN number. System is accepting. You put your PAN number, pay the tax. Amnesty application in payment also, and in amnesty application also, you mention your PAN number and you make an application. So department, I'm not aware of the administrative setup, but department must have given the charge such to take care of such unregistered. कोई एक ऑफिसर को चार्ज दिया होगा तो दे देंगे. कैसे अनरजिस्टर्ड के सब केसेस एमनेस्टी एक ही ऑफिसर के पास आएगा एंड ही विल डिस्चार्ज इट. दैट इज पॉसिबल. अदरवाइज आई डोंट थिंक दैट एनी अनरजिस्टर्ड वेट, किसी ने नंबर लिया ही नहीं, टैक्स भरा ही नहीं, खा गया है, वो अभी सच पर्सन विल कम फॉरवर्ड, बताएगा कि यस आई एम लायबल टू पे, मैंने कभी नहीं भरा है तो मैं भरना चाहता हूँ. ऐसा इनोसेंट तो शायद ही आएगा कोई. So let us not discuss for such things.
Bharat bhai, one minute. It
Yes.
is for the like third party institute. Basically, it is for them. Supposing if my property is this thing, I have mortgaged it, and
Right.
government dues are outstanding. But
Right.
now, see, until and unless the government dues are not cleared, the
Right.
company would not be in a the institute would not be in a position to recover that. So
Right.
institute will go and make the payment and get it cleared, and then they will be allowed
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why
Okay.
the
That
main
possibility
idea
is
behind
also
this
there.
is
Right.
the main
Right.
idea
Right.
is
Right.
yeah.
So amount is yes, the property is attached by the banks, for example, and they still lying with the bank. Right. Okay. But hardly any such person issued will come forward to pay the tax. Now, one more thing.
Bharat bhai, there are
Yes.
lot of
Let
like
us
that.
go ahead. Let us go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
ऐसा शायद ही कोई केस आएगा. Now, it may happen that sometimes it may happen that whenever assessment order is passed, as far as assessment is concerned, normally assessment order is passed in one shot, and in the assessment order, tax, interest, penalty, everything is levied. But sometimes it may happen, and it has happened in the past under BST Act also, Bombay Sales Tax Act, under VAT Act also, that first assessment order is passed, and levy of interest and penalty was kept in abeyance. Matter court में है, liquor वाले वगैरह cases से सब. Then later on, interest and penalty orders were passed later on. So here there is a clarification from the commissioner that if the assessment order, tax order is passed and interest order or penalty order or interest and penalty order both is passed later on. So in this case, the dealer, the assessee, will have to offer amnesty for tax, interest and penalty both the orders simultaneously. ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है कि interest and penalty only 15%, 5% I am ready to pay, I am taking amnesty. Tax जो है वो मेरा fighting चालू रखेगा. मैंने अपील फाइल किया, but that is not possible. So as far as assessment is concerned, tax, interest, penalty, all the three items will have to apply for amnesty together. One एक लेता हूँ एक नहीं लेता हूँ, that is not possible. So my question, whether penalty order, only penalty order is possible? Yes. If you file return late, तो late filing of return का notice आता है penalty यार, penalty लगाते हैं. So sometimes only penalty order is possible. So if only penalty order is passed, which is not associated with levy of tax or assessment, then in such case, naturally, obviously, you will apply for amnesty for only penalty or only interest. Sometimes it may happen that package scheme of incentives in the past, before VAT Act, Bombay Sales Tax Act. So there was a scheme, backward area package scheme, that you are carrying on business in backward area, and you are supposed to collect the tax, and you are depositing tax after the scheme was over. So 4 equal installment, 6 monthly installment में आपको पैसे वापस करने थे. स्कीम ऐसा था, बैकवर्ड एरिया में यूनिट आपने ओपन किया तो गवर्नमेंट ने आपको बेनिफिट दिया कि आप बिजनेस करो, टैक्स वसूल करो up to a certain period, up to a certain monetary limit, depending on the area, depending on the plant size of the plant. So you are able to collect the tax. You are entitled, authorized to collect the tax. लेकिन tax immediately नहीं भरना है, आराम से भरना है after 6 years, after 8 years, after 12 years, depending. And amount was required to be handed over to the department in 4 equal 6 monthly installments. लेकिन वो amount आपने deposit late किया, so that amount late deposit will attract the interest. So interest के सिर्फ interest order pass हुए, you will be eligible to claim the benefit. So package scheme of incentive unit वाले जो है PSI unit is called, such these are also covered under the amnesty scheme. Clarification is not available, but obviously those units are also covered. Payment अभी भी नहीं किया तो payment 100%, because law says that if you collect tax, you have to pay tax 100%. So such PSI unit will have to pay 100% tax, but on depositing full tax, जो बाकी रह गए पैसा भी नहीं भरा है, भाग गए किधर, many such PSI units people have run away. They can come forward, deposit the tax 100%, still you will get the relief in interest and penalty, 85%, 90%, 95%. So that is called assessment. Now, as far as return is concerned, filing of return. Now you file the return, but you did not pay the tax. So in such case also, you pay the tax and you have to apply for amnesty for tax, interest, penalty, all the three. So which return will be covered? So sorry, one more thing I forgot to cover. Now assessment order. Now as far as assessment order, appeal order, reassessment order, revision order, rectification order, whatever statutory orders are concerned. So initially when the proposal bill was presented before the parliament, bill was prepared, so there was a demarcating line was kept that all the orders which were passed up to 31st March 2022 will be covered. But thereafter representation was made to the commissioner that क्यों 31st March के टाइम लिमिट रखते हो 22, आपको आपका बैकलॉग पूरा करना है ना, तो चलने दो ना. कोई ऑर्डर किसी ऑफिसर ने ऑर्डर अप्रैल में पास किया, किसी ने मई में पास किया, किसी ने जून में किया, तो एज सुन एज द ऑर्डर इज फायर, अभी भी पास होता है, कोई भी ऑर्डर आज भी पास हुआ, उस पर जो डिमांड है वो भी कवर कर लो ना एमनेस्टी में. तो द कमिश्नर एग्रीड, एंड व्हेन द बिल वाज passed in the parliament, some modification was made, and assessment order is concerned, all the assessment order passed up till 30th September 2022 up to amnesty period, all will be. अपील पेंडिंग है तो आप कर सकते हो, फॉलो करो अपील एट कमिश्नर, डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर, जॉइंट कमिश्नर कि साहब मेरा जल्दी अपील क्लियर करो ना. तो इट मे हैपन दैट अपील एट डेप्यूटी, उसके पास टाइम है एंड ही एग्री, तो अपील ऑर्डर आपका फाइनलाइज करेगा एंड यू मे गेट सम रिलीफ इन द अपील. और अपील ऑर्डर पास होने के बाद जो डिमांड कम हुआ उसमें कुछ बाकी रहेगा डिमांड, तो दैट डिमांड विच इज रिमेन you can take the benefit of amnesty scheme. So partial relief you may get in appeal and partial relief in amnesty. Some rectification applications are filed and still pending. You can pursue with the assessing officer. साहब जल्दी करो आप रेक्टिफिकेशन पूरा करके दो ना, तो rectification your demand may come down, and thereafter balance amount you can take the benefit of amnesty. But as far as filing of returns is concerned, usme the government has become strict. Whatever returns are already filed up to 31st March 2022 will be eligible for amnesty. So now return filed up to 31st March 2022 already will be covered. अब आज जाके अब जो रिटर्न पूरा ना भरा उसको रिवाइज करते, डिमांड कम कर दिया और बोलते कि साहब वो डिमांड कम है, मेरा गलत रिटर्न रिवाइज किया, एंड नाउ ऑन रिवाइज रिटर्न बेसिस आई एम टेकिंग द बेनिफिट ऑफ एमनेस्टी, दैट इज नॉट अलाउड. सो रिटर्न जो 31 मार्च 22 ऑन द डेट ऑफ एमनेस्टी जो हो गए, तो वो रिटर्न, दैट रिटर्न विल बी फाइनल रिटर्न. सो एज पर द रिटर्न वॉट एवर अमाउंट इज पेबल, you pay full and take the benefit of interest penalty. You can't revise the return. You can revise the return, but revised return will be ignored by the department. Department will consider earlier return only, pre-amnesty declaration return only. Now, it may happen that in many cases, VAT audit is still not carried out. Audit report filed nahi hue. So there is a chance right now. Their audit report, because there is a penalty, 0.1%. There is a penalty, almost mandatory penalty is there. सब लोग लगाते हैं, कोई माफ नहीं करता है. So if you file the audit report, VAT audit report late, then there is a penalty, 0.1% of turnover. So it में ऐसे भी केस हो सकते हैं कि आपने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट फाइल किए है, लेट किए है, बट कभी आपको यू हैव नेवर रिसीव द नोटिस फॉर लेट फाइलिंग ऑफ ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, देन यू कैन अप्रोच द ऑफिसर एंड रिक्वेस्ट हिम, साहब लेट हो गया तो आप तो नोटिस निकालो, हियरिंग करो एंड ऑर्डर पास करो. I want to take the benefit of amnesty. If officer has time and if he agree, then you can take the benefit. Sometimes it may happen that मेरे एक केस पे से ऑडिट रिपोर्ट आज तक फाइल नहीं किया है, एंड डीलर केम टू मी, साहब ऑडिट रिपोर्ट फाइल कर देगा तो कैसा रहेगा. तो दैट इज पॉसिबल. यू फाइल द ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, इफ स्टिल इट इज नॉट फाइल्ड, you file the VAT audit report and request the officer, you issue the notice for late filing of audit report, levy the penalty and pay only 5% of penalty levied. You can take the benefit, provided the assessing officer has the time and agree. तो कभी कभी ऐसा है, होता है कि यू फील दैट अपना कोई केस पेंडिंग नहीं है, हार्डली एनी केसेस, कुछ है नहीं है एमनेस्टी में, लेकिन आप धीरे धीरे एक फाइल निकालेंगे और सोचेंगे तो बहुत सारे निकलेंगे. मैंने भी सोचा तो काफी निकले केस विच आई डिड नॉट थॉट ऑफ, और है ऐसे. सो वॉट एवर टाइम इज अवेलेबल, 5 महीना बचे, उसमें आप ज्यादा मेहनत करने का, मीन्स आई विल वर्क हार्ड and I will try to clear as many issues as possible. Now, calculation of interest. Now, as far as assessment order is passed, the officer has already passed the order, and in the assessment order, he must have already calculated the interest amount. So simple है, जो amount है उसका 15% you pay, and balance 85% you claim relief. But where return dues are concerned, filing of return, you file the return, paid the you made the payment late. Then question is कि आपने रिटर्न फाइल किया है, पेमेंट भी किया है, आपका कभी असेसमेंट निकला ही नहीं, बट यू नो पेमेंट इज लेट, so that attracts interest and you are not paid interest. So on your own, voluntarily, can you calculate and apply for relief in interest? What is your answer? Yes or no? What is your opinion? Yes, you can take the benefit. So you suo moto, you calculate the interest and you pay 15% and claim 85% relief. So similarly, if you refer the audit report, अब जो audit file करते हैं, whenever audit report is filed under VAT Act, so in the audit report, whenever there was one sheet, in the sheet you are supposed to submit the details of tax payment. So tax payment, when we are submitting the detail of tax payment, date of payment of tax and amount, so interest was calculated automatically in the VAT audit report. So that amount has remained outstanding interest payment. So you can pay the interest also. Then one more thing, that you're still not paid the tax. You filed the return, you filed the audit report, but still you are not paid the tax. So in that case, what will happen? Now suppose you have filed the return, you also filed the audit report, but not paid the tax. So उसमें ऐसा होगा, what will happen, that when you file the audit report, when you file the return, tax amount is shown outstanding. Interest is not calculated automatically in the return. But when you file the audit report in the past, so interest was calculated automatically, and that amount of interest is appearing in the audit report. So do we have to pay interest? You have to consider only that much interest. You will say, साहब आपने बोला था post assessment interest माफ हो गया है. But which post assessment interest? Post assessment interest in the assessment order. When the assessment order is passed, post assessment interest is accepted. But as far as filing of return is concerned or audit report is concerned, audit report has calculated interest only up to the date of audit report, which was filed in the past. बाद में interest का क्या? अभी तक tax नहीं भरा, still not paid the tax. Then in that case, commissioner has clarified that you have to calculate interest up till date. So you file the return, you file the audit report, but you have not paid the tax. Then you pay the tax. It is obviously admitted due. You have to pay tax fully, full tax. If you pay full tax and apply for amnesty, you pay interest 15%, but you have to calculate interest up till date. And there are audit report wala nahi chalega. Interest you have to calculate up till date of payment, till today, not till 31st March 2022. You have to calculate interest up till the date of payment, till today, and you pay interest. So here one has to be careful. So you will find out many such cases where interest is late. So you can take the benefit. You calculate interest, suo motu, file the application. Now one question here, the 10 lakhs. Now as I said, 10 lakhs, if demand is more than 10 lakhs, if demand is 10 lakhs, two separate calculations, you have to carry out, two options are available, etc. Now here, when payment as per return is pending, then 10 lakh का amount कैसे calculate करने का? So the commissioner also here given the clarification that when the return dues are payment, return demand are pending, then you have to consider the interest or tax demand, etc. as per return for the whole year, not per return. 10 lakh का जो limit है, threshold limit, ऊपर है कि नीचे, you have to consider for the whole year. As far as interest is concerned, you have to consider whole year, not a per return. But as far as application is required to be filed, you have to file application per return. You have to file amnesty scheme per return, every return, not the one application for all the 12 returns. You have to file application for each return. But for counting the threshold limit of 10 lakh outstanding, you have to calculate all the returns within one financial year. Then one more question, 10 lakh. Again, one more question. Now 10 lakhs. Now commissioner has given the clarification, very much in the circular clarification. So how to calculate 10 lakhs amount? So it may, in the assessment order, now again there may be two types of assessment order. One may be local act, that is VAT act, and one may be central act, CST act, central tax. Two assessment orders are passed, or under the earlier act, Bombay Sales Tax Act and Central Sales Act, two orders were passed for the one financial year. So both the orders have to be considered separately. Suppose in both the orders demand is 9 lakh and 9 lakh, 18 lakh, then both the demand are to be considered separately. 9 lakh and एक assessment order, one financial year, if it is 9 lakh under VAT Act or BS Act, then 9 lakh will be treated as less than 10 lakh. CST again you consider separately, it is 9 lakh, again it is less than 10 lakh. Both will be treated as less than 10 lakh. Then commissioner given the one more clarification with one example. The 10 lakh outstanding as on 1st April 2022 is to be considered. Suppose demand as per assessment order is say 12 lakhs, more than 10 lakhs. But in the appeal, you are deposited say 3 lakhs rupees. So outstanding demand as on 1st April 2022 is say 9 lakhs. 12 lakh minus 3 lakh you already deposited. So it will be treated as 9 lakhs. So it is less than 10 lakhs. So you will get two options. It is less than 10 lakhs, so you have got two options to make payment, either 20% lump sum or slab by tax interest penalty considered separately. So that very much clarification is available in the commissioner circular. Then one more thing, that whatever amount you already paid up till 1st April 2022, वो पैसा गया आपका, वो forget now, पैसे गए. But गए means that amount which is already paid before 1st April, that is not eligible for amnesty. So I will give couple of examples. For example, demand is 12 lakh rupees. 3 lakhs you already deposited in the past. Recovery action निकला strong तो मैंने थोड़े से पैसे भर दिए, प्रॉमिस किया बाकी के भरता हूँ, या तो अपील किया, अपील में appellate officer you deposit 3 lakhs rupees, so I'll give stay for balance 9 lakhs rupees. So 3 lakhs you already paid, so 9 lakh is outstanding. So 9 lakh rupees is eligible for amnesty, and 3 lakhs whatever you have paid. So you calculate first amount payable is 12 lakhs minus 3 lakhs already deposited. So balance is 9 lakh is eligible for amnesty, not the 12 lakh rupees. But 3 lakh credit is given against 12 lakh. So balance 9 lakh, you calculate tax interest penalty. Now 3 lakh आपने भर दिया, credit मिलेगा, but where you will get the credit? So again the commissioner or the government has taken the liberal view. Amount is already paid up till the date. So whatever you have paid up to 31st March, that will be adjusted against the demand. So that amount is to be adjusted first against undisputed dues, where you have to pay 100%. उसके सामने adjust करो 3 लाख 12 लाख वाला, 12 lakh minus 3 lakh, you adjust against the undisputed tax. Or if there is no undisputed tax, then there are amount. तो आपका एडजस्टमेंट ज्यादा होगा, 50% जो बैलेंस भरना है कम भरना पड़ेगा. If still some amount is still remain, then amount you adjust against interest. Still some amount is left, then you adjust against penalty. Still amount is left, then you adjust against fees payable. Penalty के बाद fees है, and balance if any left will be eligible for amnesty. So adjust against whatever amount is already paid, that adjust against the tax amount. So we'll get some more relief in the amnesty scheme. Then one more question arises about the VAT audit report. Now in the VAT audit report, as I told you, in the audit report, VAT audit report, that auditor has recommended to pay the tax, and the dealer has accepted it. Either dealer has accepted in the return audit report, or he may not have accepted, clearly said I do not agree, or yes, neither accepted nor rejected. वो कॉलम ब्लैंक रख दिया है, एक्सेप्टेंस वाला कॉलम ही ब्लैंक रखा और ऑडिट रिपोर्ट फाइल कर दिया. सो नरोवा कुंजरोवा कुछ नहीं बताया. So how to determine whether amount is dissipated or undisputed? So in such case where auditor is recommended, so each audit report I have to verify. Even in assessment order also, you can't pay the tax blindly. कितना है? 20% पर तो खत्म हो गया. No, you can't do. आपको assessment order पढ़ना पड़ेगा. You have to study. उसमें से ढूंढना पड़ेगा कि tax excess tax collection है, then it is undisputed. Tax pay नहीं किया, tax amount payable is more, but as per tax payment as per return it is less. That means it is clear cut amount payable. Then it is undisputed. You have to pay more. So when undisputed amount is payable, then you can't go for 20% lump sum scheme. Can't go at all. Compulsorily, you have to go for the second option. Undisputed 100%, disputed 50%, interest 15%, and penalty 5%. Only that option is left. छोटा मोटा 2-5 रुपया कोई राउंडिंग ऑफ फिगर तो चलता है, otherwise you can't go for 20% lump sum scheme. So in the audit report, auditor is recommended you pay. Then you have to study minutely whether it is disputed or undisputed. Undisputed means admitted tax liability. So you find out in nature of the transaction. Now many times it may happen that कि आपके C form नहीं आए at the time of finalization audit report, some declaration forms are missing. So auditor has recommended to pay the tax in respect of missing declaration form, and you accepted. Yes, I agree. I will pay. So auditor Does that mean that you have to pay 100%? Answer is no. Commissioner has given specific clarification. कि free form is such a thing that कि बाद में आते हैं. So it is always disputed. So आए नहीं आए. So this is one exception, that if the auditor in the audit report has mentioned in the audit report that amount this much XYZ amount is payable on account of received declaration form, and you have to pay. And even though you accepted, yes, I agreed to pay, then also it will not be treated as admitted dues. It will not be treated as disputed. It will sorry, undisputed. It will be disputed, and you have to pay 50% only. And in other cases, like you are clearly not paid tax, auditor has recommended that you have to pay the tax, and you have clearly amount is payable, भरा ही नहीं है, then it is undisputed tax. Even though you have mentioned in the audit report that I do not agree, but it will be treated as clear-cut tax collection is there, and you are not to pay, it will be undisputed, and you have to pay 100%, not 50%. So that clarification is available from the commissioner. So such clarification was not available in 2019 scheme amnesty scheme, but this time clarification is given. So couple of issues were there in 2019 which were remained to be clarified by the commissioner at that time, and we suffered. So this time we demanded the clarification and clear-cut clarification. One issue is this, and one more issue where clarification was not available under earlier 2019 scheme, but this time clarification is available from the commissioner, positive clarification. Then withdrawal of appeal. Suppose assessment order is passed and you have filed an appeal against the assessment order, then there is a precondition that if you want to go for amnesty, first you withdraw the appeal. You apply for withdrawal. Then there particular format is also given. Simple format is there. You apply on a letterhead format. You apply to the where you have to find out where the appeal is lying right now. The charge keeps on changing. So you have to find out kahan hai appeal. You file to the that particular deputy commissioner, joint commissioner appeal that we want to withdraw the appeal because we want to participate in the amnesty. Prescribed form is there. Form is already prescribed in the circular. Simple form, one-page form. 2 lines are there. To apply unconditionally. And once application is filed, you take the rubber stamp and signature. So that is sufficient. So if the appellate officer has not passed the withdrawal order, so once you apply for withdrawal order is required to be filed. But what will happen? Most of the people will apply on the last moment. So appellate officer will not be able to pass the order for each and every application for withdrawal. So possible nahi hoga. So in that case, there is a clarification that you simply apply for withdrawal and take the signature and stamp, and that is sufficient that you have withdrawn the appeal. The withdrawal order may be passed later on or may not be passed. कोई केस में भूल गया, it is okay. Application is sufficient. So you have to attach the application along with the application for amnesty scheme. Now sometimes it happens that you have won the case in the tribunal, but department has gone to the high court. हम नहीं गए, department high court में file किया है. Then in that case, also, even though department has gone, department itself has dragged you before the high court, you can file the letter to the high court that we want to withdraw the, and that is also possible. The department legal officer will give permission to withdraw the appeal. So even though department has gone, department want to carry out, but if you decide that no, I want to withdraw, then you can withdraw the application and department will give permission to withdraw. ऐसा कोई होगा नहीं, जब आप कॉन्फिडेंट है जीत गए तो फिर हाई कोर्ट से आप क्यों विड्रॉ करेंगे. बट एट द सेम टाइम डिपार्टमेंट ऑल्सो कैन नॉट इंसिस्ट यू, आप विड्रॉ करो. You want to withdraw, you can withdraw. You don't want to, then you don't withdraw. So it is at the option of the assessee, dealer, that you want to withdraw or don't want to withdraw. So withdrawal letter is sufficient. You did not wait for further action from the department, further permission from the department. Department has to give permission to withdraw. Now there is an announcement in the amnesty scheme that if the demand is less than rupees 10 lakh, then it will be 100% relief will be given. Tax, interest, penalty, whatever, or total of everything. If it is less than 10,000 rupees, then it will be 100% is relief. Is no need to pay even a single rupee. That was the announcement. And now there is a circular from the commission that as far as less than 10,000 demand is concerned, we will write off everything. You did not file application for amnesty also. आपको application करने का भी जब खुद ही write off कर देंगे. But then also, to be on a safer side, one has to be extra cautious. डिपार्टमेंट में बहुत सारे केस किधर दबे हुए किधर है पता भी नहीं चलेगा. So it may happen that out of 100 cases, एक केस में ऐसा होगा कि officer may forget to write off. So power has been given to the assessing officer to mention something in the proceeding sheet and withdraw it, and it will be intimated. Now such cases will be withdrawn by 30th June 2022. So up till 30th June 2022, आप वेट करो कि आपको कुछ ऑर्डर आया कि नहीं, इंटीमेशन मिला कि नहीं ऑफिसर को. मोस्टली यू वॉन्ट गेट, सब वैकेशन में गए हुए, टाइम भी नहीं मिलेगा. So you have to be extra careful. Where the demand is less than 10,000 rupees, you wait till 30th June. If it is not written off, then better you apply for amnesty. I don't know whether, not tried whether system is accept or not less than 10,000. If system will accept, you better file an application. If system is not accepting, I will suggest better you write a letter to the officer, mention that this is the order, attach the proof. This is assessment order. Demand is less than, please write off my entire dues. So that is extra care is necessary because this is government department. Then if dues are raised, say 10,000, if dues are raised under two different acts, 9,000 under VAT Act, 9,000 under CST, and then 9,000 plus 9,000, all 18,000 will be written off. Both has to be considered separately. Both the orders cannot be clubbed for calculating the threshold limit of 10,000 or 10 lakhs. Both will be treated as separate. Some lot of clarification, clear-cut clarifications are available. But still, question will keep on arising.
Bharat bhai, system
Yes.
will not accept because if there is no
Okay.
payment, the
Okay.
system will not accept.
Right, agree. Then we have to wait till 30th June. Thereafter,
Yeah,
better
yeah.
we write a letter to the officer.
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
please,
Nahin, the
please,
best part is write a letter.
write a letter. फाइल करने के बाद भी फॉलो अप कर लेने का.
Right, sir.
1000 में से एक केस ऐसा भी निकलेगा कि रिमांड करने के बाद भी भूल गया ऑफिसर.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming to end only. Last slide is left now. What is the time? Is there sufficient time for question? Okay, sufficient time we have for questions. Now, if you want to make payment by installment, then what? Now, payment by installment, if you don't have money for one shot payment, then installment facility is available only to those cases where dues are more than 10 lakhs rupees, not to those cases where dues are less than 10 lakhs rupees. So what is the option available? One, now there is a condition that 30th September is the last date. So at least 25% payment out of total 25% payment has to be made before 30th September 2022. If it is not made, then you are gone. Then once you make a payment of 25%, then balance amount you can make in 3 equal quarterly installments. So what is the due date now? So first you have to find out when the 25% payment was made. If it is made on 30th September, so these are 3 equal installments from the date of first installment. Law says, scheme says that. That means if you have made the 25% payment on 30th September, then another installment will due on 31st December. 3 equal quarterly installments. But suppose you have made 25% first installment on 15th September. The next installment will due on 5th, not on 31st December. So 3 months has to be calculated from the date of first payment. not from the due last date of the amnesty scheme. So one has to be extra careful. So three equal installments. So December installment, March installment, and maybe June installment, June 2023. That may become. Now, facility is given, but you have to make payment little bit more. Amnesty means instead of 50%, tax amount is 56%. Now, if installment payment, first or second or third installment is delayed, first installment is a must before 30th September. No option. Otherwise, not eligible for amnesty. Now, if second, third, or fourth installment, second, third, another second or third installment is late, or fourth installment is late, then also interest is, then also facility is given that late ho gaya chalega, but you have to pay interest at the rate of 12% per annum. But again, remember the circular says that even though installments are late, second and third, but all the installment, that is three equal installment, all the installment must be paid before the due date of the last installment. So you can afford to make payment late, second and third installment, and you have to make payment of 12% interest, but must pay before the third and last installment. Now some procedural aspects are also there. I think I forgot. Yes. Still, we have to continue. Now some procedural aspect. What is the application? Application for, now application is online. It is physical application is not possible. You must make online application. So that means it is suggested that don't keep everything pending on 30th September. 30th September, if server is jam, then you may miss the application. So better you don't keep it till the last date. So application is a must. Then also option is given that if application is not filed on the last date, but payment must be made. If payment is made by 30th September, then if application is delayed, then it can be filed before 14th October. So 14 extra days are given. Now even application could not be filed before 14th October, then it must be filed within 1 month, that is 14th November. Provided you file the application for delay condonation, and delay must be condoned by the assessing officer. So normally delay in extreme cases are only accepted. So don't think of 14th October or 14th November. Application must be filed. Payment must be made by 30th September. Even before 30th September, application should be filed before 30th September. Risky, otherwise it becomes risky. Then once application is filed, then officer within 2 months, I will have to check whether 2 months or 3 months. 3 months. So within 3 months, officer will, the application prescribed format is there online, form number 1 and form number 1A. There are two forms, 1 and 1A. So if application is filed amnesty against the assessment order, appeal order, statutory order, then application should be filed in form number 1. And if application is filed for dues as per written or dues as per recommendation of the auditor in audit report other than the statutory order, then application should be filed in 1A form number. Then once application is filed in form 1 or 1A, then officer will take maximum 3 months. Some quick officer will pass the order immediately also. So application is to be, order is to be filed within 3 months from the date of application. From the last date, 30th September. The officer will take 3 months, 31st December, to pass the order. So officer will pass the order in form number 2. So form number 2 is common form. Either you will accept the application and mention the amount of tax paid and mention the amount of amnesty granted, relief granted, balance payable, nil or some amount. Or he will clear cut reject the application. There may be reason for rejection of the application. So either you will accept the application or he will reject the application. So once the application is rejected, you find out what are the reason and you can apply for rectification or you can apply for appeal also. So there may be, now when you file an application, so you have to file application, along with that you have to attach the tax paid challenge. And that tax paid challenge must be self-certified as Commissioner said. So self-certified means certified by the dealer, not by the chartered accountant. So all the payments made in the past also and all the payment made during the amnesty period, all the challenge should be attached. It should be self-certified. Then assessment order copy also is to be attached. So if this assessment order copy is not available, it is missing, then better you approach the assessing officer, take the photocopy and attach it. Now, suppose due to assessment order copy is bulky, assessment, appeal, rectification, anything, it is, if it is sometimes it may appeal, assessment kiya, appeal में some, you have got some relief, then you may have to attach the assessment order also, appeal order also. उसके पास नहीं होगा officer के पास, you may have to attach both also. Sometimes assessment order may be bulky, lengthy, consisting of many pages. Then commissioner said if it is bulky और attachment करने के बाद application upload नहीं हो रहा है because it is too much bulky, taking more than 2 MB RAM, then storage capacity. Then commissioner said okay, you attach the first and last page. First page पे, why first and last? First page contains the name, period, etc. Name of the etc. Name of the law also. And last page contains the signature and rubber stamp. So first and page, last page is supposed to attach the first and last page, and बाद में full assessment order you submit physically to the assessing officer. So it should be attached by the order. Then if appeal is filed, then appeal withdrawal letter also is to be attached. If appeal withdrawal order is already received, then order you pass, appeal withdrawal order. Otherwise, application for withdrawal and tax paid challan. All these things must be attached with the application. If something is missing, he will reject. Then if there is a clerical error, then you can apply for rectification within 2 months from the date of rejection. You can cure the error and you can apply for rectification. Then sometimes there is maybe a difference of opinion. You said 50% भरना है, officer ने 100% भरना है. So there may be difference of opinion. So there, if we, due to that, if appeal is rejected, application is rejected, you can file the appeal also. So there is a provision for appeal also. Appeal is to be filed within 60 days from the date of the receipt of the order. Date of passing of the order, date of receipt, both will be the same because order is passed online. So it will be the same, one and the same day. So from the date of order received or passed, rather passed, आपने mail late देखा या तो आपको mail नहीं मिला तो you approach the officer and take the copy of order. From the date of order, within 60 days, you have to file the appeal. Now, where you will file appeal? Normally, there is a separate appellate authority where you file the appeal. But for amnesty, appellate officer is not going to accept your appeal. You approach the officer, who is his next higher officer. Suppose order is passed by the assessing officer or assistant commissioner, then you file appeal to the deputy commissioner ADM, administration. वो ऑफिसर का बॉस कौन है? डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर एडीएम फाइल. If the assessment order is passed by the passed by the deputy commissioner, then amnesty appeal is to be filed before the joint commissioner ADM, administration. So this is all about the amnesty scheme and some clarifications, etc. I think now I should stop here and invite the questions, queries. I might have left some, I may not have covered some aspect also. Somebody may draw the attention. Just question. One more aspect I forgot to cover. That suppose some error is, there is some error is found later on. You have applied for amnesty and some misrepresentation is found or some error is found. हो सकता है आपने 50% भरा, वो टैक्स कलेक्शन की तरह ऑर्डर कॉपी, anything error is found later on, error from officer side, error from your side, and found that कि गड़बड़ हो गया, amnesty के लिए eligible नहीं था या तो ज्यादा पैसा भरना था. Then officer within 12 months officer can revise your reassess or revision or review, whatever word you may use. He can suo moto send the notice for whatever error is found. You can rectify the error and pay the balance amount. So that ultimate power is kept with the department. That is 12 months from the date of the order. So 12 months तब आपको next notice आ सकता है कि आपने गफला किया है and you come for hearing. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bharat bhai,
Yes.
there are questions in the chat box. So
Okay. Will somebody read the chat box? Will be able
Yeah,
to read?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
So
Because
I'm finding difficulty due to
problem.
cataract.
So
I'm finding difficulty in reading.
yeah, no problem. I'll read it. So
Yeah.
the first one is okay. The refund reduced in the order. Then what to do? This scheme is applicable or not?
No, there must be demand as on 31st March 2022. Then only it is eligible. Refund
fine.
में गवर्नमेंट को एमनेस्टी नहीं दिया है, गवर्नमेंट को पूरा रिफंड देना है.
Okay. So next question is by Mr. Nilesh Kothari. Does this amnesty applies for recent template order passed in February 22? So this is yes.
Yes,
Even
yes.
correct.
Sometimes it papers are in last amnesty 2019. One case, assessment order was passed on 30th September in one my customer. So I applied on 30th September itself. Immediately paid tax and immediately applied. Department से order लिया, photocopy office पे भेजा. Immediately my staff paid the tax from my own pocket and applied online immediately. So that is possible.
Okay. So
And it is going to happen.
Yeah. Next is if amount already recovered from bank against MVAT and
Already
appeal
recovered, it is
later.
gone.
So recovered amount is gone, so there is no chance.
But
Okay.
credit of amount recovered, already recovered is available. As I told, for example, I
So
think I
whatever
should read-
balance is there on that, you have to
on
apply
balance,
that.
yes. After recovery, whatever balance is left, that is eligible. But may not be eligible, may be recovered fully.
Okay.
Or if balance is not available in the bank, then some.
Okay. Next is by Jasmeet Gandhi. Is the demand to be reduced for payment made before filing an appeal?
No,
Is the demand to be reduced for payment made before filing an appeal?
payment already made at the time of filing of appeal.
Yeah.
Yes, that is okay. So your demand is reduced. So payment already made before 1st April 2022. So that is to be reduced and balance will be eligible.
Okay. Just CA Aryant Kochar, his query is 10% tax amount paid at the time of appeal can be used against amnesty scheme payable amount?
Can be used since again the same answer. I will give one, instead of reply, I will give one example. Suppose demand is 5 lakh rupees and 10% you have paid 50,000 rupees or 5 lakh is total demand. Suppose tax demand is 2.5 lakh rupees. So 10% of tax amount 25,000 you are deposited. So out of 5 lakh, 25,000 you already deposited before the 1st April. So that means 4 lakh 75% is eligible. Now 4 lakh 75 consists of what? Suppose, as I told, 2 lakh 50,000 is tax amount, 2 lakh 50,000 is interest and penalty amount. So 25,000 your deposit, 10% of tax amount. So now out of 2 lakh 50,000, your tax demand is left 2 lakh 25,000. So you may pay 50% of 2 lakh 25,000. And 2 lakh 50,000 entire amount of interest and penalty is eligible for amnesty scheme.
Achha. Okay, fine, good, thanks.
So no refund of 10% paid, but कहीं पर भी तो आपको क्रेडिट मिलेगा before amnesty.
Yeah. Okay. So last question is interest payable for the late payment of installment under package scheme of incentive.
Eligible.
It is covered by amnesty. Eligible.
You calculate self-calculation. You calculate and pay and submit the challan, etc. Everything you will have to submit online and thereafter approach the officer. जब self-calculation है, so it is necessary to approach the officer. Don't wait कि officer order दे देगा, क्यों जाने का?
Right.
So for calculation purpose, better you approach the officer.
Okay, good. So audience, any other questions, please?
और कोई क्वेश्चन रह जाता है आपका पॉइंट एमनेस्टी का कोई पॉइंट जब बताया उससे रिवोकेशन वी हैव कवर्ड आई एम आल्सो थिंकिंग इफ एनीथिंग इज लेफ्ट no refund under this act. Yes, one point I forgot to cover. It is mentioned in the PPT. No, the scheme says that no refund under any circumstances will be given. Now suppose you paid the tax and applied for amnesty and you paid XYZ some amount and your amnesty is rejected. And thereafter it happens that you have not applied for rectification, you did not file appeal also. In my case, it happened last year that I was waiting for order, but I did not get the order. Thereafter I forgot. And dealer also did not inform me that he had received the rejection order by email and he did not forward me. So the time limits are 60 days. It is gone, suppose. So you paid X amount, officer demanded Y amount and rejected due to some reason. There was dispute of tax. So there was one dispute. I will tell what was the dispute. This is important now for discussion also. So rejected. And dealer did not inform me. So it is gone. So law says that if any amount is paid under the amnesty, it will never be refunded to you. पैसा amnesty में भरा हो गया, but गया means हमेशा के लिए नहीं गया, because there is already a demand under statutory order. So that will be adjusted against statutory demand. Now suppose in the earlier case, आपने जो example दिया 5 lakhs is demand, 4 lakh 70 out of 5 lakh 25,000 आपने part payment appeal में किया, and balance amount you have gone for amnesty. So out of 5 lakh 25,000 you have made part payment. So 4 lakh 75 demand, and you have made say 1 lakh rupees. Amnesty आपको 1 lakh भरने का था, आपने payment किया, it is rejected and did not file appeal. So 1 lakh whatever amount is paid under amnesty is not refundable, but it is adjusted against statutory demand. Now your demand is if 5 lakhs is demand 25,000 rupees part payment, and 1 lakh also will be adjusted against 4 lakh 20. So now balance your demand as per statutory order will be 3 lakh 75,000. आपको credit मिलेगा, but refund नहीं मिलेगा. Now one more point. Now typical many such cases are found typical questions. Suppose now what happens now under VAT Act or under earlier Bombay Sales Tax Act, whenever you file the return, there is a refund in the return. Monthly return file के every month return है. कोई some return there is a refund. Purchase is more than the sales. So input credit is more than the tax liability. So there is a refund arises under VAT Act, say for example, or under BST Act, and that in the return, whatever refund was there under VAT Act, you adjust against the CST Act return. CST में आपको पैसा भरना है, VAT पे refund है, so as per the law, you could have adjusted. So VAT refund you are adjusted in the CST return, and you adjusted, and you file the annual return, audit सब हो गया. जब assessment order हुआ, when assessment was carried out and assessment order was passed, it was found that आपको input credit जितना claim लिया, that is not eligible. So some input credit was disallowed. So demand is arise under the VAT Act. So what happened now? What will happen? कि आपने जब return file किया, whenever you file the you are already adjusted some refund in the CST demand. Now that VAT refund आपको कम मिला, VAT जो adjust किया था in one particular return, that is disallowed. Some input is disallowed. So there is a shortfall in VAT return. So demand is there. So whatever shortfall is arise, so CST में आपने adjust कर दिया था, तो their shortfall will arise because CST में adjust नहीं हुआ, VAT पे ही खत्म हो गया, साफ हो गए पैसे. तो VAT का जो रिटर्न था, VAT का ऑर्डर, उसमें पोजीशन ओपन हो गया, आपका डिमांड खड़ा हो गया. सो डिमांड देयर इज a disallowed under VAT Act, but demand is arise under the CST Act because of this adjustment. So in CST Act there is a demand in the assessment order. So now question, तो CST में जो डिमांड खड़ा हुआ, whether it is disputed dues or undisputed dues. So question was arise in 2019 amnesty scheme. So in one my case it happened. So I treated, because no clarification was available, so I treated it as disputed because CST में adjust लिया तो क्या VAT में input credit disallow, तो it is a disputed, it is not a tax collection clear cut, so it should be treated as disputed. But assessing officer said no, it is undisputed. आपको पूरा पैसा भरना था, आपसे कम भरा है instead of 100%. So your application is rejected. Then I filed appeal, I lost appeal also. So this time, as soon as the scheme was declared, I represented before the commission that there should be clarification and it should be treated as undisputed. Sorry, it should be treated as disputed. It is not a tax, clear-cut tax, it is disallowance of input credit. So there is a clarification from the commissioner. Now clarification is such that when such situation arises, then commissioner, then in that case you have to, suppose case is lying in appeal, then you have to withdraw the both, you have to go for amnesty for both VAT and CST, you have to withdraw both the appeal. अब दोनों साथ पे withdraw करते, then we'll treat such amount as disputed and 50% discount is available. And if you pay 50%, under Bombay Sales Tax you pay 30%, 70% discount. But if you withdraw the one appeal and apply in only one, then we will treat CST जो shortfall है, will treat shortfall as undisputed. You'll have to pay 100%. So that clarification is available. So that particular point I forgot to cover. Questions? Any questions? I think some more questions should come out. Should we wait for a couple of minutes? should we wait for questions? Or whether everybody is on mute? 35 questions are not coming.
There are, I think, Paresh
Yeah,
Vora has asked.
Yeah,
Amrit
there are
bhai,
questions. I'll read. Yeah, amount freeze in bank account but not recovered by
Good,
department.
good. Amount is freeze, then it is good. Then you apply to the assessing officer who has freeze the account. अच्छा है कि freeze हुआ है, पैसा खींच नहीं लिया. That is a good.
Yeah.
Then you apply to the जिससे freeze के assessing officer that please unfreeze my amount. I am going for amnesty scheme. So please unfreeze. I will pay the amnesty. So he will have to unfreeze. He will have to. If you refuse, you can approach the higher officer. Higher officer में क्या कभी it may happen that assessing officer may not have common sense, or he may be afraid. So he may not agree. So you approach the higher officer. Your account will definitely be unfreeze.
Okay. And the question was, will that also be considered as paid? So it's only freeze, not paid. So that's
it is not withdrawn by the department.
okay.
So you are lucky.
Okay, good.
That particular amount is blocked only.
Yeah. Next is rectification of order filed after April 22 eligible for amnesty?
Yes. You file rectification application, get it rectified, and you will get the relief.
Achha.
Subject to law. Law should the law of VAT Act or BS Act should allow you to file the application. There are conditions. Rectification application can be only filed under CS Act. Only one application can be filed, or there is a time limit within 2 years only. If you file rectification application now beyond 2 years, then as per law rectification cannot be filed. So subject to all parameters. If it is filed, it will be entertained, and you will get some relief in rectification. Thereafter, after rectified order, you may go for amnesty scheme. No problem.
So for rectification application, they
Even appeal also. Even appeal also, you can file the appeal. If there is a delay in filing of appeal, if appellate officer is condoning the delay, condone the delay, appeal final karo, demand come ho jayega, thereafter go for amnesty. But generally all are busy, loaded with work. So rectification is possible, but appeal, if you file today, get it condoned and favorable order aega, chances are less because all the officers are loaded. Yesterday only, yesterday, today, Monday, Friday only, there was one appeal. Appeal is filed in 2019. 3 साल पहले appeal एक file हुआ है. So I went to the officer. Officer ने भाई अभी तो मैं 2015 के pending appeal ले रहा हूँ. आपका तो 19 है, किधर time है मुझे time नहीं है. It is not possible for me.
Fine. Okay. So one more question. Amnesty covers works contract tax. Yes, that is.
Definitely, yes.
To first approach officer for unfreeze of amount or the first amnesty.
Anything. आपका दूसरा अकाउंट में पैसे कर सकते हो तो first you apply for amnesty pay and thereafter you approach the officer.
Okay.
And thereafter tell them आप पैसा भर दिया तो amnesty order भी पास करने की जरूरत नहीं, मेरा अकाउंट unfreeze करो. It can be unfreeze any time.
So I think there are no more questions. So we request our chairman, sir.
In case of any query later also, you can contact me on mobile number. Also, email address is given in the slide. Anytime you can approach. No problem. If I'm not picking up phone, you can try once again.
More questions. I think if amount already recovered from bank against MVAT and appeal file later after recovery, am I allowed to file against amnesty scheme? Can we use the recovery challenge against any other year amnesty?
Other year not possible. For that particular year, if recovery is paid fully, suppose amount is fully, then there is no question of amnesty. Paisa vasool ho gaya, zero ho gaya, no amnesty. But you can file the appeal. आपके अपील में दम है, you file the appeal and get it, get the refund once the appeal is ordered in your favor. But if still there are two options. Either you file appeal or you go for amnesty. Both is not possible.
Good.
I don't think you will file appeal और फेवरेबल आएगा तो पार्शियल अमाउंट भी गया तो गया, वो वापस नहीं मिलेगा पार्ट पेमेंट.
Okay. Fine. So I think let's process session chairman Sri Pradeep Bhai Kapadia to give his concluding remarks for today's session.
I think nothing to say. It was an excellent presentation. I think in depth he has explained everything. I think the basic, even the queries which were there, it has been solved. Bharat Bhai, I always appreciate the way the
Thank
in-depth
you.
is everything. And see, the best part was he was always worried, have I left out anything? Have I left out anything? And he went on giving all the answers. I think, Bharat Bhai, you have not left any stone unturned. It has all been explained. And now I think people can now start filing, I think, their applications, whoever are in dispute, start taking the benefit. And I think such a scheme may not come in future. So just get it done. And I have already said that people who are still, their assessments are pending or appeals are pending, you should approach and get the things done and file your application. And Bharat Bhai, yes, we have told the commissioner regarding, you have said about the
Yes.
appeals which are pending. And but we have told the commissioner that you have to tell the appellate authority
Right.
to come for amnesty. Please consider them on priorities and allow them whatever the appeals and all that are can be heard. So, and let
I
me
think
tell you,
if I remember, if I remember, I think we have represented you distribute the appeals among
Yeah.
many DIPSI.
even to
Commissioner
now,
said,
not
commissioner said
not
all
only
others
the
are
appellate
busy.
authorities, to even the ward officers and all that, according to their designations.
Yes.
That is what, and let me tell you, the commissioner is so positive. I have never
Okay.
seen such an officer. You would not believe, in our seminar on the
Yes, yes.
amnesty, he was there up to the end. I have not seen any commissioner, and he was always open. He said, any queries or anything which you feel and which we are in a position to do it. Yes, that should be, because there were a lot of people coming for partial withdrawals. He said that is not our intention, because we want to complete all the litigation. And if you go for partial and still you wait for, that is not possible. So otherwise, very open. And
Yes.
even the department officers at the higher levels were also, who had been with us, have been very open. So I think this scheme should be a success. Yeah, and Bharat, I thank you very much for
Thank
all
you.
your excellent presentation. And thank you very much. And as Puneet said, that we would request this, though it is your first time, it should not be the last time. Sir, you are also chartered accountant and Jain. So we wish member also, no? Bharat Bhai, if you are still not a member, please do become a member.
Okay.
Amrit Bhai,
Okay.
please send in a
I'll
form.
become member.
1100 rupees is the fees for
Okay.
lifetime. I think that's something which
Okay.
Amrit Bhai, I think we are not, this is where people, we want such people. Why are we not, we call them on our platform, but still, because they are not aware of the membership and all that. So we should, and let's have such that is what is my request. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is, I am representing as a president, not as a chairperson. So this was my request. Bharat Bhai, thank you for even accepting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks. I would like to take the liberty to now present a vote of thanks today first to our session chairman Pradeep Bhai, who though our president of JCAF has been in new role, his in-depth knowledge and experience of practice GST laws and now GST laws, all them together, and he has been practicing almost 40 years now. So the depth of experience we all learned because by his being as a chairman of today's session. And of course, Bharat was really amazing. Each and every in a simplified manner. And of course, the scheme, the way, even the extended to all the are being passed even today. So it is something really gone out of the way and wholeheartedly to make the scheme a success. So that is the one of wherever these schemes are declared, they all the appeals date only will be eligible. Now the best part of is even your demand is adjudicated now, or even appeal is adjudicated now, even post appeal, whatever remaining demand is there, that is only eligible for settlement. So this is one of the best ever scheme we can say as of today. Everyone will agree. So friends, go to your clients, dip out all your old records as well as old notices on the sales tax site or departments, wherever it is, and take advantage of this. With this words, I request everyone to basically thank Bharat Bhai from the for this and bringing us presentation. Thank you, Bharat Bhai.
Thank you.
Next part, he had a cataract operation. But done this.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Presentation, sir.
Yeah.
Very nice presentation.
The dedication. Thank you.
Actually, I thought I will be all right by this time, but
Nice
it
presentation.
took time for recovery.
No, but that because then the stress.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you. It will.
Now you become a part of it.
Maharaj Sahib na Ashirwad Cheta આવી જાય.
Tribals of Pradeep Bhai
Yes.
who are still not members, so
Yes.
we need to connect with them.
Yes, I'll approach Pradeep Bhai or Hiral Bhai and I'll
Yeah.
take the form and then just pay
Absolutely.
the
Online, so I'll
1100
send you the
rupees.
link.
Our Vidyut,
Yeah.
Vidyut
Yeah, please
Bhai is
send.
there. Yeah, Vidyut Bhai is very fast and prompt on that issue. Vidyut Bhai?
Bharat bhai, I have already WhatsApped you the link
Oh, good.
for the
Good. So I'll
Yes.
pay tomorrow or the day after tomorrow and become
Yes.
your
No
client.
issues. No issues.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just one announcement. On Wednesday, we have another seminar on companies, accounts, and audit rules, auditors report rules. The speaker is CA Timal Maru, and the session will be chairman by none other than our Central Council member. Please do join in large numbers. Would like to conclude the. Thank you to the audience also, everyone.
Thank you. भाई चोवियार
Hey.
बची गया भाई निकल
પ્રદીપ ભાઈ તમારો જો વ્ય-
અમારી બધાની સેવા કરીને ચોવિયાર કરી
પરમ દિવસે સર
બાય બાય
Sure.
till we meet again
day after tomorrow